Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today is a little bit of a different video. I usually try to keep my videos pretty positive and about books that I mostly like and things, but I decided to kind of switch it up because it's my channel and I can do that. Oh, my dog's coming to visit as well. But I decided it'd be fun to do like a ooky spooky kind of, these books were not good and I'm trying to do like a something on like they were so scarily bad that I didn't read them, like, ooh, fun Halloween vibes. This is Luna, by the way, the thing I'm petting right here. So warning going into this, obviously the books I'll be talking about are just my opinions of books that I personally did not finish or did not like, but that is nothing. I mean, I am sure other people love these books, and that's also not to say that I could write a book any better than these by any means. I just thought this would kind of be a fun, different video. So, yeah. Okay, the first book I have decided to talk about, which is actually not a book that I DNF'd, but I should have, and I regret not DNFing it because I really just put myself through the pain and agony for like zero reason. And that's kind of like a thing. I like really hate DNFing books and I'm really hard on myself, and a lot of times it just feels like I like wasted my time or something. I just kind of like the mentality I get that I'm like, you've already read so many pages, which it could be any amount of pages. It could be like you've read half of the book, or it could be like you've read 5 of the pages. Like you'll never get those couple of minutes back. And I fully like buy into that, and then I'm like, oh my god, you're so right, like I need to finish this book even if I absolutely hate it, which is a stupid mindset, and I'm trying to get better about that. So the first one we are talking about is, hello Luna, she's so excited to hear as well, is The Savage by Sophie Lark. Which, okay, I've talked about this on this channel already because obviously I read it, so it was in like my reading wrap up and stuff. I have no idea what month. I think it was low-key like July or something like that, or June. I don't know. But basically, if you don't know anything, this is the last as far as now. It's the 5th book in the Kingmaker series, which overall I very much liked the series. It's just this book was not it for me. Basically, it follows Sabrina Gallo, and this is all like mafia world based too. And the part of the reason why I liked Kingmakers was because it was like based off like a boarding school for like mafia kids, which I was like, oh, it's a really cool idea, kind of makes it a bit different, but still like high stakes, but like kind of interesting, and like a different mafia book than like the normal ones, which I can sometimes get kind of stale because they're like the same things over and over. But so basically Sabrina she like quit school at the very beginning, so I don't even know why it's in the Kingmaker series because it literally doesn't take place at Kingmakers at all. She quit school because she wants to go with Adric, I think is how you pronounce his name, to become this like mafia leader, and I think it's someplace in Russia, I think. I don't really remember. So many problems with this book. First off, it's so boring. Like the first like 100 pages or something are just so boring and so not important to the plot, like whatsoever. It's like laughable to me. Like I literally read them and then I was like, I still like don't really know what's going on, and I don't know what the purpose of all that was for. Like literally it doesn't really have one. And then the main thing is that like throughout the whole book, like the main like conflict, I mean, is that Sabrina wants to be like equal to Adric, but Adric is like the head of this like mafia division. I don't know what to call it. Sure. So he doesn't really want to like share that, but he like lies to her and whatever. So it's like they're both like butting heads, being like, I want to be the head. Like they both want to be in charge. And this was so stupid to me because like, why? Like, I don't know. Like, I get where Serena's coming from. Like, obviously, he told her she was going to be, like, equal parts of it when she quit school. So that's very bad on him. Like, totally on her side for that. But then it's also, like, it's just, like, stupid of, like, I don't even know how to, like, express this because this is, like, making my brain hurt. But it's, like, obviously there has to be one that makes the decisions. This is a mafia world. and I'm not saying it should be Adric, but I'm just saying that's super hard to have two heads in your mafia world. Like, I don't understand how that would really work, or like one has to be slightly below the other, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, they have to go to one person for advice. Okay, sorry, my computer just gave me like a message that was like, I don't think it's your recording's working. And I was like, what? And then it was fine. So, or hopefully it was. I don't know. So anyways, and then like other issues I had with The Savage, I just think it was like overly sexual, and like I mean, like, I get it, like, you know, some books are gonna have more than others, but I just think it was too much, and to the point where it was just like, oh my God, like, stop. Like, I want them to have like a conversation that's not based around something that's like, I don't like, that's not like, that's based around something real and like deeper of a relationship than just like a sexual relationship. Like, that's so stupid. Like, they didn't feel like a real couple to me. Like, they were either arguing or hooking up. There was like no in between. So it was like, I wasn't rooting for them, because I was like, what is the purpose? I didn't feel like there was any relationship to root for. And this book didn't get any better. I kind of just finished it because I was like, I've read all of the other four Kingmaker series. I feel like I kind of have to, and whatever. I mean, it is what it is. It did put me in like a huge reading slump, so I do kind of think I wish I DNF'd it because it was not worth it. And yeah, but you know, things happen. Okay, the next book that I'm putting on this list, which I think is more of a, well, I originally thought it was going to be kind of like out there, because for the beginning of the summer, like, this was like, I heard about this book constantly. Like, you could not go, or I could not go on my For You page without seeing this book and people being like, you need to read it, you need to read it, it's so amazing, it's like all of this stuff, it's like whatever. And then recently, and then like I didn't like it, I DNF'd it, and then recently I've been seeing like a lot of people being like, overrated books, and like this is part of it. And I'm like, oh, that's really interesting, because I don't know if it's just like the For You page being super specific to me and like my experience, and they're really listening, which, you know, props on them, because it's like really specific, or if it's just like that's kind of the general consensus now, like stepping away from like the craze of the book or whatever. I don't really know. But it's Funny You Should Ask by Elissa Sussman, which the plot is cool for this. Basically, it follows Shani. I literally looked up how to pronounce her name and I still don't really know, and I'm sorry, that's awful. But I'm gonna say Shani, and she is like a reporter, and this book takes place like multiple, like, not timelines, but times, like it's like years later, and then like in the future, I think it's like 10 years or something like that. But basically she's interviewing, oh fun, basically she's interviewing Gabe Parker, who is like this huge actor, like equivalent kind of like Chris Evans, I feel like, or something. And she interviews him and all this stuff, and then like they form a relationship, and then like, I don't know, and then you like jump, and then it's like again in the future she's like interviewing him again. Cool, fun. So like, cool plot. I DNF'd this book halfway through. My troubles with it were, again, it was just boring. I just was very bored. I think it was a fun idea, like I said, and like it was kind of interesting because they were like chapters that were like just like excerpts from like her article or other articles that were like about his career or whatever. But I think this book would have been a lot more fun if it was just centered around the first interview. Like, I think it maybe would have been more interesting to me if it was like the first book was all about, or just one book was all about like their first interview. So like her getting this like her having a like celebrity crush on this dude, her finding out she gets to like interview him, going on the actual interview. And I mean, I didn't read the whole thing, but I got to like, there was like, they had like a couple more interactions after the interview, like one or two or something. So I feel like that could have been a cooler book, and then like their relationship after the interview and like everything that happens. And then if she still wanted to do the second one, I think that could have been a second book of like, then there's a flash forward, and then like years later she's like looking back and when she has to do the second interview. I just think I wasn't really interested in it because it like instantly, when you jumped into the book, it was already talking about her future, and I was like, I can even like mourn what happened like mourn the like relationship that was lost because I didn't even know about it. Like I didn't even get to see that growth. Like it's one thing for like a second chance romance, but I hate when it's a second chance romance and they give you that like they're trying to make you fall in love like the first time. Like they give you glimpses at that and it's like, why are you giving me glimpses at that when I know it's not going to work out? Like that's just like kind of stupid to me. I don't know. And like sad to me because the whole time I'm reading that, like I'm not getting butterflies in my stomach. I'm like, oh, but it's not going to work out. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't necessarily like that. I think I just didn't really connect with it either because it was like, they were like older in it. Like I said, like it's like 10 years later or something. So I think they're like in their 30s and like they're both divorced and like it just wasn't really like where I'm at. And I think this one, I think of the 4 books I'm going to talk about, that one's probably my least, like I didn't like it, but I could see how other people could really like it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not as big a deal. The next book is another one that I feel like I was seeing like a lot of hype on my For You page. And I kept getting those like aesthetic TikTok videos that are like a bunch of Pinterest like pictures and like a cute song and then it's like in like sometimes maybe quotes but a lot of times not even and then it just like says the like book and I'm like always a sucker for those. Like I literally will screenshot those so fast and look at the book just because like those get me. So the people working on those are working hard, I gotta say, doing the advertising. But it's A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. And I literally read the first 20 pages, like literally like the first chapter, however long that was, and literally was like, yeah, no, I'm good. No, I'm good. Y'all can go on and do your thing. So from what I know, it takes place at like Lancaster Prep or something, and it's like a fancy rich school and all these rich kids, and it's like, oh my god, what is his name? Oh, Crew. Crew is the main dude's name, I'm pretty sure. But Crew is like super popular and whatever, and he's kind of like the bad boy, and then he really wants to, like, I don't know what better word to say than like corrupt Ren, which is like the popular good girl kind of. So, you know what? Hey, I have been known to read a book or two where it's like not the nicest, like dark romances or like, I mean, I read mafia romances and like stuff like that where it's like not the sweet, soft guy and like whatever, but I mean, and of course, like, I don't really like books where it's like they're mistreating them. And you know, there's some people, like, there's some ones that are coming through the cracks that probably I have disagreed on. Like, I liked Kill Switch by Penelope Douglas. I know that's not a good example. That's the same example as this, and it's bad, and I shouldn't like it, and I know that. But it's like, the 20 pages that I did read of this were basically like Crew was talking to his friends and was talking about how like he wanted Ren, how sweet and innocent Ren was and how he wanted to like wreck her was like his words and like all this stuff. And she took like a chastity pledge to her father, like not to her father but like with her father or whatever. And he thought that was really weird and like didn't like that and thought she was kind of like coerced into it and like didn't like that. And all this stuff. And so I just hate when it's like a book is also not upfront about like what it is, because literally in like the first 20 pages I read, it was like him being like, that's so wrong for her father to try to like control her and control her like what she wants to do with her own body. But then at the same time he was like, but she's so innocent and I'm gonna make her not innocent. Like I'm gonna corrupt her. And it's like, that's also not your choice. Like you also don't get to make that choice for her. Like, I'm confused. You literally just said that, but then you're, like, changing up on me. So, like, I hate when that happens. And I also just hate when it's, like, when it's not a world where I can, like, suspend my disbelief. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you create a world that is crazy and I don't even know, like so chaotic, then I could maybe understand, like things are coming up to me like Wattpad fan fictions, like when the world is like crazier, I can kind of, or like a mafia romance or something where like the situation is different, that like I'm not excusing the bad behavior, but like it's makes more sense to me. It has like a reasoning behind it versus just like a book set at like a normal high school and then it's just like, but I'm gonna corrupt her and I'm gonna make her like whatever. And again, I'm literally saying this, and then I kind of liked the Devil's Night series, so like I'm going back and forth on that, but whatever. We're just focusing on this. It was like too much, and it was too much talking about like ownership of women, and like it was too creepy. It gave me very like After vibes that were very like just toxic relationship, that like I knew reading this, I was like, this isn't going to be a relationship that I would want, or it's not going to even like turn sweet. Like, I don't know. And even just like, I was looking at the Goodreads page to remember their names, because like I would remember that, and I was just scrolling down to like find his name, because it like wasn't in like the description or whatever. And literally, even just reading some of the quotes people had like marked as like the quotes they liked from the book, I like read a few, and I was like, no, I'm so glad I didn't read this. That is not anything. Like, if you're gonna give me a bad boy good girl romance, the whole like the beef of that is so good, at least to me, is that the bad boy kind of changes. It turns into more of like, I hate everyone in the world but you type of vibe, where it's like, he's nice to her. Like, you have to be nice to your love interest. You can't just be like a jerk all the time and continually be a jerk to like your uh, romance partner. Yeah, sure. But like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It just made me kind of mad, and I literally was like 20 pages in. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. This is kind of funny to me, because I read when I DNF'd A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, like right after that. I was like, oh, what book should I read next then? And then I was just kind of like looking at my TBR, and I was like, oh, like I'll just do this one kind of. I just kind of picked a random one, and I picked this next one literally like right after, which is very funny and unfortunate. But it's Riot House by Callie Hart, and it's the first in the Crooked Sinners series. I think I saw another one of those like Pinterest beautiful TikTok videos, which just get me. And I think it was about the like women, which I'm always like, if you give me like a good like group of girls that like book series girls, I'm just like so for it. Like, it makes me even excited. Like, even book series I have read that like the deal, that's not the book series, like the like off campus series or something, which I liked but I didn't like absolutely love, and like some of the books in it, the series. But then you give me the like a video of like all of the girls like together and being like all their vibes. I'm like, yes, yes, slay. Like, such a good, like, I just love that vibe. It's just such a fun vibe. Um, and you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, why aren't there more books that are like centered around like girl groups? Like, there's a lot of books I feel like that are centered around like going through each boy in the friend group, like whether it be like I don't know, like off campus or something. Like, why don't they do the same but for girls? Like a group of 4 girlfriends, like a group of 4 girls who are friends, and then they all find partners, and like each one has a book. Like, I can't really even think of one that has that. That's so stupid. That's actually beyond stupid. Anyways, because that'd be fun, because then you get like female friendship, which is like the best part about most of the books. Okay, anyways, but this one also funny, also has a Ren in it, but the Ren is a boy in this one. So Ren is the boy and Elodie is the girl. And this one I DNF'd after like 70 pages, so like got a bit further. I was like trying, because I had just DNF'd A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime like 20 pages in, so I was trying to give this one like, no, like this is fine, like I can't DNF another one, like I need to keep going, like this is fine. So I tried, and I really tried. But anyways, basically, it's a very similar plot to A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. I don't know if I purposely did that, like subconsciously, I don't really know. But basically, it was, like, they're going, like, Elodie's dad is, like, in the army or something, and he, like, high ranking, and he expects a lot of her and stuff, and they were just in Tel Aviv, and he's like sending her to boarding school now, so she goes to this boarding school, and she's like the new girl in school. And then Ren is like, has been there for, I don't know, but he's like the bad boy again, kind of the school, and I wouldn't say Elodie's like as much as the like good girl, she's kind of like the new girl. And yeah, so basically it's the same. I have the same qualms. It's kind of just talks really bad about women, and it's a lot of this like, I want to corrupt her type deal, which I think it wasn't as bad to me, like the writing and the way like the women were talked about in this book. I still think it was bad, but it was not as bad as A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime that made me quit after 20 pages versus 70 pages. It was just boring. Both of the characters didn't really seem that redeeming, especially the guy. There was no way I was going to fall in love with the guy and like the guy because of the way he was talking and the way he was acting. So it was like, why am I even trying to do this? Just like wasn't worth it. And it just was kind of boring to me. So those are 4 books that I would definitely skip if you were looking for books to skip for reasons. If you were looking for reasons to not read books, here are 4 books you should not read per my opinion. And yeah, and if you're like me and don't DNF books, you know, my life I think is a lot better because I didn't read some of these books. I guess I read 1 of them, but I didn't read 3 of them or finish reading 3 of them. And I think my life is better because of that, honestly, especially for the last 2. So I would not be afraid of, like, if you're not enjoying something, don't just, like, do it to keep enjoying it. But thank you for joining me for my first kind of, like, bad vibes video, and my first night video, too. I've never filmed at night. I always film during the day. So maybe this is kind of fitting, because it's, like, dark, like, bad boy vibes, bad girl vibes, I guess I should say. But yeah, so thank you, and I hope you have an ooky spooky Halloween, but it does not include a bunch of scary, bad books with scary, bad, mean men in them, that are played off as love interests. So please know your worth and know that you're beautiful and amazing and awesome and deserve the moon and more. And yeah, just show yourself some self-love today and every day if you can. So goodbye, thank you for watching my video, and see you in the next one.